Hi friends! About 2 years ago I spent some time in Oscoda, Michigan on, of course, a Bigfoot expedition. And one of the weird things that we noticed on that expedition was at a location where there was a memorial to a pilot who had passed away, we saw lights that looked almost like they were fireflies. They weren't fireflies, but they were white lights that would start on the ground and kind of do this and come up. And I couldn't record them no matter what I tried, but other people saw them. And so it was just interesting and weird. Furthermore, we went out and brought like tons of people. Like this was a real live expedition, and I think maybe there were like, I don't even know if there were like 60 people out in the woods in various groups. But one of the groups, they ended up hearing what they thought were children, like yelling and playing in the woods, and there weren't any children out there. It was really late at night, and so I admit I ran alone through the woods to try to hear what they had heard. I didn't hear anything. So later that year, 5 of us decided that we were going to go down and try to record the lights, record any sounds that maybe we could hear, and just try to make sense of what the heck had happened. And we did the exact opposite because we collected some video that's weird with lights that's inexplicable, and a couple of us had very strange physiological experiences, and none of it is easily explainable. And that's kind of why I want to provide this information for you, so that you can help me figure out what the heck we experienced. Now granted, we're out there on a Bigfoot expedition, and that alone is just strange and weird, but we experienced some things that aren't normal, and we caught them on both still photography and possibly even on video. And so that's what we're going to be looking at right now. So right now I'm going to kind of have you looking over my shoulder, but this was one of the still photographs that we took, and this right here actually shows the woods was here, and we're looking that direction. That is open sky, and that actually is lightning lighting up the sky. But what I'm interested in is that right there, because that little point right there wasn't a person. And if you take a look at some of the other photographs, it wasn't there before. Let me show you that. This is another version of the same shot, and there's nothing there. And so we might have actually caught one of the little lights. Again, that is an area where we were looking in that direction. And what I know is that there was no one to the front of me. Everyone was behind me at this point, and that's important. At one point, we also captured this blue light, and this blue light was not in the center of the photograph. It was way off to the left-hand side, but I zoomed in on it, and then I think I have another picture even more zoomed in. We'll see if I can find it. Yep, right there. And what is that thing? I have no idea, but it's a blue light in the middle of the woods, which is kind of cool. And the way that we did it is basically my friend took her camera and held it up against the top of a car to stabilize it, and then just hit a long exposure. And so we were able, and we went through like hundreds of different long exposures, and every once in a while we found something interesting. I've been just filming constantly. So guys, we were seeing something out in the woods, and we were able to record it that was interesting, and multiple people saw it. I saw a couple of whitish ones. I never saw anything blue. I did see red occasionally. And it wasn't just close to us, because at one point I was looking down probably over 100 meters down a hill, and I saw some lights that were along a tree line, but still they were just teeny points of light. My goodness, maybe like the size of this pen, if it were to light up. And for me, what I would see is they would come there, and then they would fade away, and it seemed like about that long. They weren't there very long at all. It was really kind of weird. Speaking of weird, every once in a while, if you've ever been in the woods, you might get a little bit spooked, just because that kind of happens every once in a while. Happens to me frequently. But there was an incident that occurred this night while we were looking at these lights that was inexplicable and actually surprisingly scary. And listening to the audio, I know how scared I was, and the audio really doesn't really show the feeling that I had, and I tried to describe it really quickly. I was off to the left, my buddy Don was over here, everyone else was behind us, and I felt this horrible, cold, chill, icky, for lack of a better word, sensation. And it kind of hit me, kind of the thigh, and then up through like the chest area. And it was almost like a really cold breeze, but it wasn't windy and it wasn't cold, and it went through. Not a cold breeze that just kind of hits you, but just goes through and kind of grabs you. And it gave me a feeling of creepy dread. Don felt something similar, and you'll hear us describe it. But I've had something like that happen before on a couple of occasions. Once it was in the early 1990s when I was camping with my dad, and long story short, over the course of 3 nights, something was messing with our tent. Something was throwing rocks at us, and it was big, it was bipedal. And the first night I was hit with this cold, shivering sense of dread, and I couldn't move. And granted, that could be any number of things. It could just be fear. But it was a similar feeling to that. And then prior to that, year was 1989, and I was at a summer camp, and true story, and I was walking to an area, a water area, where we used to have the kids swim, but we were out late at night, it was like 1 in the morning, and my buddy and I were walking, and it's almost like I walked into a wall of cold, and it was unbelievably icky. And I'm like 18, I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything. And so I took a step back, and it went away, and it was hot out. And so just because I'm such a scientist, I went back in and I walked through that section again, and it hit me again, and it was terrible. It was cold, it was a sense of dread. I backed up and walked around it, but then right after that, when my buddy was down at the waterfront part and I was over a little bit to the right, I thought I saw someone off to my left, so I turned around and looked at the steps that were going up, and I saw a figure. And what it looked like, this sounds really cheesy, but it looked like a woman wearing like a flowing white dress. But she was very wispy, I guess you could say, like, oh, ghost-like. So I'm not saying it was a ghost. That was a dramatic pause there because I don't know what it was, but it was super scary. But that initial feeling, the walking into cold dread, was similar to what I felt, except it was coming at me, almost like a wall of icky coldness. So I'll let you hear the audio, and maybe it's happened to you before. I hope not, but if it has, let me know, because I need to know what the heck this was. Oh gosh. No. No. Oh, that was uncool. Everything's fine. Yes. No, I can't. Oh, that was very scary. I just got so scared. That was so cool.
Did you see or hear?
No, it just shot through my legs. That was unbelievable. I haven't been scared like that in so long.
Eyes don't move.
Holy shit. My whole body's covered in goosebumps.
I am coming towards you.
That's wild.
Yeah, that was I did not like that at all. What I felt was coming from here. That's what I felt to my left. Basically our freaking 9 o'clock. That's what I was feeling.
That's not where it's from. When I come over here, my whole body was
Yeah, we got. Oh,
It went to my legs. That was
it's down below, guys.
that was really weird. That was freaking awesome. That was horrible. That was horrible. It felt like something hit my legs that was just
got nothing right now.
cold and scary and icky.
whatever it was. I don't feel it.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
Oh, it keeps coming in.
So what the heck was it that we were seeing? I still don't know. I'm really interested in your perspective, if anything similar has happened to you. But I'll tell you, it was creepy enough and weird enough that I was glad that there were other people around to experience it, so I knew that it wasn't just me, and the fact that one of my friends was able to actually document it on a camera made me feel like I wasn't making it all up, at least not all of it. But help me out, let me know what you think, and made it a little easier for me to go out in the woods the next time. Thanks for your time, have a great day.